They came in black windbreakers with HOA enforcement printed in Comic Sans, and I swear to God, the moment I saw that font I knew something was about to go catastrophically wrong. One had a clipboard, another was twirling a set of zip ties like he'd watched too many cop shows, and the third snapped my 78-year-old grandpa's arm because he didn't want to comply with their beautification protocol. That, folks, was their big mistake. They didn't realize my cousin Beefy Ray and the Flathead Vultures MC were visiting that weekend, smoking brisket and just praying for a reason to throw down with anybody who thought rules mattered more than people. But let me back up a sec. The real trouble started 3 months before the arm-breaking incident. The day we moved into Juniper Bluff Villas, the so-called welcome packet wasn't banana bread or a neighbor's handshake. It was a 3-ring binder, 417 pages deep, explaining exactly how not to piss off the Homeowners Association. Page 212, no aggressive garden gnome faces. Page 304, no bird feeders that attract non-native birds. Page 97, subsection 12, paragraph 4, grass must be between 1.75 and 2.25 inches, measured from the soil line. I remember thumbing through that horror novel while Grandpa Hank, already breaking Rule 47 with his feet on the porch railing, just chuckled and said, "Nolan, I survived Vietnam, your grandma, and gas station sushi. I can handle pencil pushers." Famous last words, right? He hadn't met Trudy Pascal yet. So yeah, I'm Nolan Price, 32, IT tech. Professional peace lover, recently relocated to Juniper Bluff with Grandpa Hank after his health started to slip. We wanted hummingbirds, not a turf war. Instead, we got Trudy, 5 feet 3 inches. 7 different colored HOA polos, mall cop vibes. Once threatened a squirrel in the dog park. Monday was burgundy, Tuesday forest green, Friday always black for respect. She patrolled the neighborhood like a traffic warden with a god complex, her khaki pants swishing so loud you could hear her coming before you saw her. First time I met her, she was measuring my mailbox, not with a tape, but an honest-to-God wooden ruler. Regulation height is 18 inches, yours is 17.3, she muttered, eyes like a hippo protecting her territory. "It's 7/10 of an inch," I said. But she just sniffed. "Today it's 7/10. Tomorrow you're parking an RV on the lawn." She gave me 72 hours to fix it. By week 2, she'd found 14 violations. Doormat too wide. House numbers not in the right font. Hose visible from the street. She even passed something called the Curb Appeal Preservation Act with the help of her cats. Legally, emotional support animals. Apparently with voting rights. But it all hit a new level when Grandpa put up his Vietnam veteran flag. That flag wasn't just cloth to him. It was memory, sacrifice, pride. He mounted it right. Kept it lit at night. Trudy showed up at 7 a.m. sharp, screeching that only American and state flags were allowed. First Amendment, Grandpa said. First Amendment doesn't apply in private communities, she shot back, with the confidence of someone who'd earned her law degree on Google. She gave us 48 hours, $50 a day fine if we didn't take it down. That's when it got personal. Then she went after the gnome. Promoting violence, she called it, even though it was just a Revolutionary War figure with liberty or death on the base. Mrs. Henderson's grandchildren were traumatized, she claimed. Never mind, they're in their 30s. She also hated Grandpa's wildflowers, wanted everything ripped up and replaced with Kentucky bluegrass, because native plants attract native insects, which attract native birds, which make noise. I wish I was making that up. By now, we were getting daily violation notes, and Trudy started community wellness checks. Just an excuse to prowl around our property with her nervous VP, Gerald, and sometimes Gladys, the board member with a camera and bedazzled sweaters. One Tuesday, I caught her in our flower bed doing soil composition analysis, accusing us of using illegal compost. Grandpa called her out. "That's how you maintain insanity." She barked back about property values and announced she'd be banning wind chimes next. Violations piled up. Our porch light was the wrong angle. Hose wasn't brown or black. Grandpa's car was parked 3 inches too far from the curb. Trudy kept escalating. During inspections, she'd crawl around our yard with a magnifying glass, comparing our grass to a color chart, scowling when she found wildflowers. Then came the showdown. After Grandpa told her to "Get off my property." Trudy lost it, screaming, "That's a threat." The next day, 3 men showed up in tactical pants, radios, and matching windbreakers, calling themselves HOA enforcement. That was the day Grandpa muttered, "Call Ray. We're having a barbecue." I did. Ray is my cousin, 6 feet 4 inches, president of the Flathead Vultures MC, mostly veterans and off-duty cops. He brought the whole club. Mutt, Diesel, Tiny, Preacher, 15 men, all barbecue lovers, all very ready to witness whatever Trudy thought was coming. That Friday, the barbecue was in full swing. Music was at legal decibel levels Diesel had checked. The Vultures' bikes lined the street, Ray hugging Grandpa, Mutt setting up a smoker big enough to roast a cow. Trudy appeared, clipboard raised, Gerald trailing behind with a sound meter, and the 3 enforcement officers marching behind her. They tried to write us up for violations. Too many vehicles, music too loud, barbecue smoke a nuisance. The bikers quoted city code, showed decibel readings. Ray stepped forward. "We're all family, ma'am." "That's not how the bylaws define family." Trudy snapped, but no one cared. Then her officers crossed onto our property, trying to detain Grandpa for refusing to comply. One grabbed Grandpa's arm. Ray's voice, deadly calm. "Let go." The guy yanked harder. There was a sickening pop. Grandpa screamed, and everything froze. Even Trudy went pale. The Vultures surrounded the fake cops, Mutt blasting them with a hose set to jet while I called 911, hands shaking. Ray ordered, "Nobody touches Uncle Hank again." The wannabe enforcers tried to bolt, but Tiny, all 5 feet 5 inches of ex-Marine, blocked them cold. The rest corralled the 3, bungeed them to lawn chairs until the police arrived. The cops took one look. 15 bikers, 3 soaking wet men in windbreakers, Grandpa cradling a broken arm, and knew exactly who the good guys were. I showed the video. Trudy admitted, hiring the fake cops from Craigslist. Turns out, her officers had criminal records, expired licenses, even prior arrests for assault. She'd written them a 60-page manual authorizing reasonable force, including arm bars and pressure points. It was all in writing. She'd paid for it with embezzled HOA funds, too. The neighborhood exploded. News cameras showed up. HOA board members claimed ignorance. Gerald resigned on the spot. The HOA disbanded within a week. At the final meeting, even Mrs. Henderson, supposedly traumatized by the gnome, stood up and said, "I thought it was cute." We hired a taco truck, ate sheet cake with Trudy's mugshot in edible ink. Justice, served with frosting. The legal fallout? The 3 officers went to prison, 18 months, 2 years. One got mandatory anger management. Trudy's trial was a circus. She wore a different colored polo every day like it was armor. Her lawyer argued she was just overzealous. The prosecutor read her manual aloud. Grandpa showed up in dress uniform, arm in a cast, medals shining, telling the court, "I defended freedom twice. Never thought I'd have to defend it from Comic Sans." The jury took 2 hours. Guilty on every count: assault, impersonating an officer, embezzlement, conspiracy. 4 years in prison, $50,000 restitution, 500 hours of community service at veteran centers. She's barred from any HOA board for life. And let me tell you, seeing Trudy get let out in cuffs, her Friday black polo rumpled and her face purple with rage, was more satisfying than winning any fight. But you know what's wild? To this day, people in the neighborhood still argue, was Trudy just doing her job, or was she a tyrant with too much power? Maybe you've got your own HOA horror stories. So tell me, where do you stand? When does community order turn into tyranny? Drop your thoughts below, and hey, if you've ever stared down a petty tyrant in your own backyard, let's hear about it.